Lightbrite, Chapter 31. Went to the mailbox and received this letter from Disability Awards. I put in a commutation of funds for my husband's file last February 08. It's been a year now, and we finally heard his decision. Listen to this, guys. This is the decision letter relating to your February 7, 2008 application for a partial commutation of your award for the purpose of paying off some personal debt as well as to pay off your home mortgage. As was described in my February 14, 08 correspondence, consideration of your commutation application was deferred to your active appeal at that time. And if it wouldn't have been in the system, that appeal, Mr. Greg Griffiths, you did say that you would have allotted us that commutation award. So why didn't you just leave us alone and just do that commutation award? We would have been way better off than you pulling our ass out to a hiatus to get a reassessment so that he can never work again in his whole entire life. That was the most stupidest thing you could have ever done. And I hope your comrades at your work, I hope they're mad at you, and I hope they never talk to you because you're an idiot. You're an idiot for doing that. The only reason why you did that, you thought Jamie was lying, and you thought the award would be lowered. So therefore, you thought we would be having a huge debt to pay back something that wasn't going to ever happen because he actually is traumatically brain handicapped. So your theory backfired. That's why they were all mad at you, Greg. They weren't mad at you because you were going to bat for me. You wouldn't be going to bat for me. Following the hiatus assessment, and as was described in my decision letter, the issue I must now decide is whether your application should be approved given the significant change. Enclosed is a copy of my December 23rd, 08. December 23rd, folks. He actually released some money to us December 24th. We had no presents under the tree. We had no money. There was no presents under the tree on December 25th. We had some money in the bank December 24th at 4 o'clock. Greg, you were laughing at home, weren't you? Yeah, you probably were. In order for a commutation to occur, various criteria must be met. One is the worker must be a stable source of income apart from Worksafebc benefits. This criteria is not met in your current circumstances. Well, yes, it is met because I have a stable source of income, which you pulled out of your pocket to use in calculation to pay for my husband's mortgage payments each month. You said that my stable income could pay that. So why can't you include it in this? Because it doesn't go to where you want the letter to go? Are you going to put a subsection A and B on that one, Greg? Because I know you guys are allowed. You're just making it up as you go along. That's going to backfire because you're going to get too many subclauses and clauses in subclauses. And you, my friends, you are going to catch 22 yourself. And there's going to be major upheaval in Worksafebc. I promise you that. In addition, a large portion of your debt load relates to a sunroom solarium extension added to your home in 2001. I took out that loan in 2001. Its final payment is June 2010. That's a year and a half from now. It is by far the least amount on our debt load. The most amount on our debt load is the student loan. Why couldn't you have written the proper thing, Gregory? It was the student loan is the largest portion of our debt. Obviously, you're allowed to write what you want, even if it's false, right? This is proof that that's what you do. Because I have evidence to show that, so why would you put this out? Why? Oh, you make me so mad. Commutation request to assist with irregular routine costs of life. He's just scolding me here, thinking why would he even allow that to happen, and blah, 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 and the list goes on and on. Pretty much just making it known that he has the power to do what he does. Some advantages. Ultimately, your award is viewable as a stable, lifelong, inflation-protected and bankruptcy-protected asset and income base. So do you know what? All you're telling me is you don't want to let go of that fund because that fund sits in a fund making interest. That's why you do not want to pay off the injured workers. You want that money to sit there and sit there and sit there. How much of a bonus did you get for writing this one, Greg? Or did you get reprimanded for pulling us in and actually finding that Jamie did have a really bad traumatic injury? Okay, now I'm I'm just about 5 minutes into this little one. I have one more thing I want to tell you. I phoned the workers' advisors because I'm getting very sick now. I was sick 2 days ago. I phoned the guy and I said, look, I'm getting pretty sick and I need somebody to help me write these letters and get them in, but I know what I want to do. So I let the lowdown on this Daryl Lahoulier in Richmond, who they gave me, Workers Advisors gave me this guy to use. So I proceeded, I was going to use him. Well, he wrote me back, and this is one of the things he said. Accordingly, you are certainly able to request a new decision from the Vocational Rehabilitation Department. However, I will not be able to assist or represent you in this matter, as I do not think there is a sufficient chance for success. All the way through this letter, you guys, he says he, not we. Like, if he was for us, he would have written this whole thing differently. Look, this is what he writes. Let me see. I note that one plan your husband was issued on September 21st, 04 and was the subject of a review already. There is no further appeal available on that decision, as the Workers' Compensation Appeal Tribunal does not have any authority to decide matters related to vocational rehabilitation. However, I note that the September 21st, 04 decision and its review were both based on the finding that your husband was not to receive a loss of earnings award. This obviously has changed, which means that you can ask them to issue a new decision in light of the loss of earnings award that stems from an earlier review division decision. That said, I do not think that such a new decision will have any reasonable chance of giving you further benefits. This is because, firstly, an injured worker cannot receive a permanent disability award and a job search allowance or other wage replacement allowance from Worksafebc at the same time. As a result, while James may have been entitled to a more than 26 weeks of assistance, his loss of earnings award has been backdated to September 20th, 04, and as a result, he has already been paid via the permanent award for any time he would have had a longer wage replacement entitlement from vocational rehabilitation. See, so they backdated it to September 20th because I did leak out to the Workers Advisor's Office that I was going to attest the September 21st letter. So this is what they did. They backdated it for the 20th so that the 21st, that wrote it right off. This is exactly what they do. Secondly, with respect to the cost of the mechanic training that he undertook, the September 21st, 04 decision concluded that such a vocational rehabilitation plan would not likely be suitable for your husband. Well, guess what? The pipe fitter one that she did for him wasn't entitled, wouldn't have worked either. So how are we going to do this? This seems to have been true, as he was unable to complete certification, now has received a 100% loss of earnings. It would seem that the assessment of the Voc Rehab consultant was correct in retrospect, so I do not expect that any new decision would change that conclusion. Accordingly, you are certainly able to request a new decision from the Vocational Rehabilitation Department. However, I will not be able to assist or represent you in this matter, as I do not think there is sufficient chance for success. Okay, you know what, you guys? I was told that by the workers' advisors since the very beginning of my husband's case. They told me that you can appeal anything you want, but you're not going to win, so why bother? Why bother? Because if I wouldn't have bothered, I wouldn't have gotten where I am now, would I? So how can a worker advisor deny to help a worker? How can they do that? How? Now what? Now who's going to help? Nobody? That's it? Throw it in the garbage? And Greg's laughing. Greg's sitting up there laughing his little butt off. You can bet your butt on that one. I'm going to put this out and let you viewers see it, and you let me know what you think on this one, because you know what? That letter I got is blatant lying. Lightbrite out.